Maanghang na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Senado ang panukalang papalitan na ang ating saligang batas patungong parliamentary form of government. Kung bago ka pa lang dito sa YouTube channel ko, please like the video and subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para mas magiging updated ka sa susunod na mga video. Napanganga na lamang si Senador Coco Pimentel sa galing na ipinakita ni Professor Clarita Carlos na isa ring National Secretary Advisor ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Natulala na lamang ang lahat na senador sa napakaraming nalalaman ni Carlos patungkol sa parliamentary form of government. At isinalisay ng maigi isa-isa ang pakinabang nito sa ating bansa kung sakali man na ito ang magiging saligang batas natin. Na mula pa noong 1987 Constitution na ginawa ni dating Pangulong Corazon Aquino, nalugbok na ang Pilipinas sa kahirapan dahil sa matinding korupsyon. Ayon naman sa mga netizen, maraming pagbabago sa buhay ng tao sa mga nakalipas na panahon. Kaya kailangan din siguro na ang konstitusyon ay may pagbabago din. Huwag naman manatili sa sinauna. Panahon na para rebisahin ang mga nakasaad at kung may babaguhin ay bakit hindi. Clearly said Proof. Hindi gawa-gawa lang ang statement ni Proof. The way she act, malalim ang kaalaman niya. Sana matauhan kayong may mga sariling interes dyan. I'm Carlos Loxogurges here. Salamat po, andyan kayo na may alam para turuan ang mga nagmamarunong. God bless po.
To realize is that a democracy can only work because you have informed citizenry. After all the government authorities come from the people. And I think that is enshrined in our Constitution. So anything that the people grants to the government, it can also take away. That is the reason why you have recall, you have impeachment, and the like. So that even if you had been elected by X number of votes, there are also mechanisms by which you may be not elected anymore. And that brings us to the question of why are we revising our Constitution? Well, the quick and dirty answer there, I use the term quick and dirty because it's the one we use as social scientist, Senator, to mean that we had very little time and therefore I have to truncate my responses. I know I can deliver a whole session here of my lecture, but I know that there are many other resource persons. And I hope you will invite me another time so we can continue this conversation on many, many aspects of the changes that you want undertaken. Structures are very important. Structures are really the institutions within which you envelope or you embrace individuals and groups, and the structures will define the limits to action. They will define the floor and they will define the ceiling, the bottom and the top, so that an individual, when given a particular structure, like if this were a glass, the individual knows that it can only work within the structure of the glass. Like this, cylinder, like, you talk of the leche flan, which can be formed in different configuration. If you form it in an oblong, the milk and the sugar will only work along the edges of the oblong or whatever shape the leche flan will take. That is the nature of structure. Now, if you put warm bodies in structure, then the warm bodies will have to align within the structure. And when they so align within the structure, you invariably change their behavior. So the basic groundwork, Senator, of the changes that you want would really be this philosophical perspective that structures will result in behavior change. That's the reason why we're revising the Constitution. Because what you have seen from 1987 is that there had been a lot of things that we have done and not done. And we think that a change is in order. And the change can only come from changing the relationship among structures. And I think you hit on one of the major relationship, and that is between the executive and the legislature. Now, people seem to get confused in regard to federal and parliamentary systems. I think you mentioned that already, Senator Pimentel. When you talk of federal systems, you really talk of the relationship between the national government and the subnational units. So when you talk of a parliamentary system, you're talking about the relationship between the executive and the legislature. Okay, what is the difference between a presidential system and a parliamentary system? Siguro, konting kasaysayan. Nag-umpisa ang parliamentary system sa tinatawag na Mother of Parliament, Great Britain. Nagkaroon sila ng bloodless revolution in 1688, where once upon a time, it was the king who declared the law. And I'm sure you remember the divine rights of kings, Senator Robin. The divine rights of kings simply declares that the kings represent God, and therefore, whatever the king says is law. But they had this glorious revolution, and so they constituted what is called the parliament. The word parliament comes from the French term parler, P-A-R-L-E-R, which means to talk. That's why parliament is a talking environment. You talk. If you zipper your mouth there, I mean, you'll be ousted in the next election because that's why no bobo can be member of parliament, by the way. I'm sorry for the use of the word, but I cannot find any other one which is appropriate. Meaning somebody who has nothing between his ears will eventually be kicked out of the parliament because he will not be able to converse. He will not be able to exchange views. He will not be able to sustain the question hour, which will happen. I think you mentioned that a while back, because in the question hour, every member of the parliament will be asked, what have you done in agriculture? What have you done in health services? And the like, and will be made accountable for what he has or has not done. So, you know, the beauty of this is just starting to unravel. And I wish this will be a continuing conversation, Senator, so that, you know, this will require many, many sessions, I assure you, because I'm just truncating my thoughts now. I'm putting them all together, and then maybe later on, I will spell them out in more detail, if not in this session, in some other sessions. All right. What is the other outstanding quality of a parliamentary system? The fundamental principle is parliament is supreme, which means whatever the parliament declares is law. Of course, if you have a dual executive, then the executive, who is a ceremonial executive, will give his or her imprimatur, but as only pro forma. You recall Queen Elizabeth? Queen Elizabeth will...
Sa video na inyong napanood, kababayan, ano ang inyong reaksyon at komento ukol rito? Mag-comment lang po kayo sa comment section at huwag rin kalimutan mag-subscribe para mas magiging updated ka sa susunod na mga video. Thank you and God bless!